Hey everybody, this is Josh, and for those of you who don't know, I am the fan of the State of the Saints podcast. Now, decided to make another sports video again today, and I know I have a lot of new subscribers from TJay's podcast, the State of the Saints podcast, so I again want to start this video by saying that this is not a Saints podcast. My channel is not a sports podcast at all. It's mostly a self-improvement podcast. And I decided for the first time a few days ago to react to one of TJay's videos to combat some of his opinions that I disagree with. Now, I am thinking about incorporating a sort of once a week reaction to TJay, right? So I might do a sports or Saints podcast once a week. But it's not going to be a regular thing. This is not primarily a sports channel. This is a self-improvement channel. But I do love the Saints, and I am a big fan, so I'm going to incorporate some Saints and State of the Saints podcast videos into my mix here. So as long as you followed all that, we're cool. But just don't expect like in-depth Saints content here because I'm just a fan. I am nowhere near the football expert that TJay is. So I might say some things that aren't fully true just by accident because I don't follow the stats the way TJay does. I mean, I follow stats, but I follow stats the way a normal fan does, right? But TJay, he knows like every little detail about the Saints before he even records his videos. I'm not that guy. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. Now, to the subject of today's video, I have another disagreement with TJay that I didn't address in my original video. Both TJay and I have been probably Jameis's biggest supporters, Jameis Winston's, since he came to New Orleans. We've stood up for Jameis countless times, even when almost everybody in the live chat was like crapping on Jameis. And we stood on that. But TJay has somewhat turned against Jameis and is now talking about, drafting another quarterback and so on and so forth. But I still believe in Jameis. I still believe Jameis has Russell Wilson level talent. I believe Jameis can be a great quarterback, not just a good quarterback, but a great quarterback in this league. And I believe if we stick with Jameis, he'll get us to the promised land. All right? It might take him a few years, but he'll get us there. We just have to give him some space to work out his kinks. Problem is, he hasn't played a full season in a Saints uniform yet, so he hasn't played a full season in this system yet. We have to let him play a full season and work out his kinks and his mistakes and everything before we really judge him. You know what I'm saying? But he keeps getting injured, so we don't really have that option. Now, as far as should Jameis Winston be playing right now instead of Andy Dalton, no. The man has 4 cracked vertebrae in his back. 4 cracked vertebrae. Which basically means if he gets hit the wrong way, he could be paralyzed. Let him heal completely, at least the vertebrae in his back. He has other injuries that he can play through. I think he's got a shoulder thing going on, a foot thing going on. He can play through that, but cracked vertebrae, that's nothing to play with because if that cracks too hard, you're in a wheelchair. So let his back completely heal up before he gets back into the game. That would be my thing here. But when he does come back, we need to stand behind him through good games and in bad games. We need to quit talking about, oh, Jameis ain't it and this and that. He's going to have bad games, man. And he's going to go back and forth between bad games and good games because he's not used to playing in the Saints system yet. You might say, well, he's been here a couple of years. Yeah, but he's been here a couple of years, but he's only really quarterbacked at any great length in practice. He's only got, what, 7 actual games as a full starter in a Saints uniform? All right, so he's going to be up and down for a while. There's going to be those games where his talent is on display and he's got 5 touchdowns and 400 yards. But there's going to be those games where he's got 200 yards and 4 interceptions. He's just going to have that up and down for a while until he gets used to the feel of the system. But once he does get used to it, he's going to be a great quarterback. So TJay has not completely turned against Jameis. He still wants to give Jameis another chance, but it's like he doesn't necessarily have the confidence in Jameis that he used to. But I do. Jameis has shown me enough that I believe that he is a future great quarterback as long as he keeps working and keeps himself injury free. You know, people want to talk about 30-30. Peyton Manning threw 30 interceptions in his first season, but people were hailing him as the next big thing, and they were right. Why is it that when Jameis does it, he's terrible? You know what I'm saying? It's because we're impatient today. We want our good players to be good right away, and if they're not good right away, they're nothing. This is part of being in the smartphone generation, the social media generation, and so on and so forth. Listen, I watched a lot of Jameis's rehab videos to rehab his knee over the last year since he's been out of the NFL. And I've never seen a man work so hard. I've never seen a man with so much dedication. I mean, I have, but I've never seen somebody. It's pretty rare that I've seen that. And I don't think I've ever seen somebody. Sorry about that. I forgot to shut my air conditioner off before I started recording. But what I was saying is that when watching Jameis's rehab videos and seeing how hard he works, and how hard he has worked to get back into the league, few men have ever worked as hard and has been as dedicated as Jameis has. So that makes me want to give him a chance right there. Because even if he comes out and he stinks out the season for the rest of the year, the man has the work ethic to fight through that until he becomes an actual great quarterback. We just have to have the patience to ride with him. Go and watch some of Jameis's rehab videos if you don't believe me. I mean, unbelievable dedication this man has. So yeah, I still believe in Jameis. TJay still wants to give Jameis a chance, but it doesn't seem like he believes in Jameis like he used to. But I still believe in Jameis, because even if he's not as great as I think he is, he will be as great as I think he is, just based on his dedication. All right? Because no matter how bad you suck at something, if you're determined to get good at something, and you put your heart and soul into it day after day, you're eventually going to get good at that thing. That's what Tom Brady did. Tom Brady came into the NFL without really a shred of athletic talent. But because he's so dedicated to his craft, and he was so dedicated to getting better morning, day, and night, he became one of the top 5 greatest quarterbacks of all time. 7 Super Bowl rings. Some argue the greatest quarterback of all time. I don't, because Drew Brees is better, Peyton Manning is better, and Dan Marino is better. And there's a couple others that are better. But Tom Brady got to where he was at through his dedication and through his hard work, without an ounce of athletic talent. Jameis has athletic talent, and he seems to have the same dedication to improvement that Tom Brady does. So as long as we as fans don't demand his benching or his ousting every time he has a bad game, he's eventually going to get us to where we need to be. So yeah, I believe in Jameis, and that's where I'm going to end this. Now, I'm going to link you to the State of the Saints podcast down below. Every time I do something in reaction to the State of the Saints podcast, I'm going to link the link to the YouTube podcast down below. For those of you who are into any kind of sports, I suggest subscribing to TJay at the State of the Saints podcast. Even if you're not a Saints fan, you will enjoy TJay. Trust me, he's different than any other sportscaster you will ever meet in your life. So that's going to be linked down below. My Cash App is also going to be linked down below. Please show your love. And I feel like I had one more thing to say. Oh, Andy Dalton. Listen, we're going to be fine with Andy Dalton. He's been playing well. I know that 3 interceptions in 2 minutes has got everybody all messed up, especially with the 2 pick sixes. But that one pick wasn't even his fault, right? That one pick six just bounced off of Marquez Callaway's chest. So that was on Marquez Callaway. But Andy Dalton has been playing well. Now, that first interception he threw against the Cardinals was a boneheaded decision. No question about it. But Andy doesn't make too many boneheaded decisions. He usually makes good decisions with the football. So it was just a bad game. There's no need to panic. Andy Dalton will be okay under him until Jameis gets better. So that's all I have to say. State of the Saints podcast, link down below. My own Cash App, link down below. Please show your love. That's that.